Praise God, praise the living King.
Amen.
We are so happy to come to you again from Baraka Testimony, and I am so blessed and privileged to sit with someone I call my sister, a friend, a confidant. I want to introduce you to Carol. Before I let her speak, I'll say one or two things about her. Carol is a seasoned entrepreneur. She's the CEO and founder of Swirl Laundry and Dry Cleaners, and recently Swirl Homes. She is someone who believes in uplifting others through her work and through the things that she does. So allow me to introduce her to you, Carol. Kareem, Osana.
Thank you, Sushi.
It's good to have you here with us today. Please salimia our viewers.
Good morning, everyone. Praise God. I'm glad to be here, and yes,
we are glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And I know you and I will go a long way. However, today I'll not do any speaking. And I know you have so many testimonies, Carol, which you've shared with me over time. But today I want us to encourage somebody. Tell us your story, but before you start, tell us, who is Carol? Is Carol married? Does she have a family? What does Carol really do in Swirl? So just tell us about yourself.
All right. Who's Carol? I love that question. First and foremost, Carol is a child of God. I love Jesus as my friend and savior, and he's been there for me. I'm a mother of 2 children. My eldest is 24, my youngest is 22, and I have my 2 nieces who I call them as my own because they've been with me for a long time. I'm an entrepreneur. My first business was the laundry, so I ran Swirl Laundry. We are a corporate laundry, so we deal with institutions. Like you said, recently Swirl Holiday Homes.
Holiday Homes.
That's being launched actually this month, so it's interesting. The month of September, 9th month, we're talking about birthing. Yes. So that's where I'm launching Swirl Holiday Homes. It's a place where if you need a getaway or just a place to go and unwind,
relax,
that's what we're introducing. And yes, I like uplifting people. I like working with entrepreneurs because along my journey of entrepreneurship, there are people who have walked with me. Because I used to work in the corporate world for about 12 years. When I stepped out into the entrepreneurial world, at some point, you need people to walk with you. So I've had people who really walk the journey with me, and some have given sacrificially. So for me, it's my way of paying it forward. So I also help entrepreneurs. Yes, sometimes as a consultant, but I find myself many a times doing it pro bono.
Yes. Don't we all?
Carol. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So let's just delve into it. Tell us about your story, the things that we don't know about Carol, and how did you get here?
Wow. Sushi, we've shared a lot since we met, and I believe now when I think about it, our meeting was not a coincidence.
No, it wasn't.
I'm even trying to remember how we met. However, amongst the journeys I've been through in my life, Carol was once married for a period of 10 years. I got married very young. My first child, I had her at 20. I was pregnant at 19. By the time I'm delivering, it's 20. By the time I'm 23, I'm married. I have 2 children. I'm running a home. I'm working in the corporate world. So I started some things very early in life. But so along the way, 10 years later, I had to go, or rather, I went through divorce. Reason being, as I was going through my career, my husband was not based in Nairobi. He was based in Kisumu. So I think the distance.
Disconnect.
And I was at a place where my career is growing. So I think I forgot that there's a family to look after even when your career is growing. So my trips to Kisumu, because he was based in Kisumu, reduced. And I think during that period, things happened. We grew apart and things happened. And unfortunately, he filed for divorce when we tried to reconcile our differences. I didn't fight. I think I was a very bitter woman. because we started young and we achieved quite a lot at a very young age.
Okay.
Quite a lot, according to me, then is children are going in good private schools. We bought our first home very early in marriage. We were doing well. We were both working and we had a business running. We had a transport business running. So when this happened, I was bitter and I didn't fight the divorce.
Okay.
So when I got the call that he has filed, I didn't understand, but I told the lawyer, okay, what next? So the lawyer sat me down, took me through what needs to be done, but in the end I told her, you know what? I don't need all this. I don't have the energy to fight. Let him have everything, provided he takes care of the children.
Yes.
But I had the children a year after.
So he stayed with the children for that 1 year.
When I stepped out of the marriage, there was violence, so eventually I had to step out. So when I stepped out and I let him have everything, I didn't have the energy to fight.
Yeah.
And those were the days divorce was not common. Yeah, so I asked the lawyer, okay, what do I need to do? So the lawyer told me, in order for you to have the children, you need to have your own place. I stayed with a friend.
Okay.
I must say I was blessed. I never struggled financially.
Okay.
So now stepping out is when I realized I don't have my own savings because we had a joint account.
Yeah.
Anytime we needed money, I just go and withdraw. My salary was in my own account, but for some reason we had a joint account where. So I realized, okay, now I need to start taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So the lawyer advised get a house because the children cannot be removed from a comfortable place to
a friend's house.
Yeah, a friend's house.
Okay.
So that was the first time. Because remember, I left my mother's house to my matrimonial home. So that was the first time in my life I'm living by myself.
Yourself. Wow.
So I got a beautiful apartment in South Sea, nice area, and then I got the children. But the children, it wasn't easy for them, the transition.
Yeah.
So because there was a certain standard of life that we're used to. Remember, my kids were going to a private school. We lived well, I thank God. Anyway, so kids moved in, then the divorce went through 3 years after that.
Okay.
And now some of the mistakes we make as ladies is you jump into another relationship very fast. So my divorce went through in 2012, thereabout. I got into another relationship, a serious relationship in 2013.
Immediately after that. So we are talking about what, a year? Within a year?
Yes.
2012, 2013.
But I moved out of the home in 2007.
Okay.
But the divorce finally went through in 2012.
Okay.
But you see, I got into another relationship without going through the healing process. I didn't understand. And no one is telling you these things.
Yes.
So I got into another relationship, which lasted 3 years. But it was a very, very difficult relationship.
Wow.
I lived well again. He was a gentleman who was doing well economically, financially, so took care of me. He had kids. The kids were younger. But it wasn't an easy marriage.
Okay.
For some reason, it wasn't an easy marriage.
When you say marriage, did you like formalize it into like a real marriage, or was it just come and let's raise these children together?
I formalized it at the AG.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I didn't want to be seen living with a man. I'd started knowing God, so there are some things I want to make right. So I didn't want to be seen just living with a man.
Right.
I didn't believe in can we stay or can we risk. So we formalized it and we moved in together. But it wasn't an easy one at all. I think I enjoyed the relationship just for about 6 months. And now when I think about it, there was no honeymoon, there was no wedding band, there was no dowry. You know, all these things happened so fast and I wasn't questioning. Why?
Right.
Support from my family wasn't there. Because even they didn't know that we were going to the AGs.
Wow.
I just surprised them. But you know your mother is always your mother. She's like, okay, if that's what you want, there's nothing much I can do.
Right.
I'll support you. But no one supported me. When I think about it now, no one supported me. And not because they didn't like him, but I think they knew something that they were not able to communicate to me, that you need to take your time.
Yeah.
So I started seeking God because I'm living well in a leafy suburb. The business is still going on, but suddenly things are not going right. But I'm not happy. there was an emptiness in me. And for the first time in a long time, I started crying. When he's not there and I'm but myself, I break down. And then there was conflict between me and the daughter.
Okay.
We just couldn't get along.
Wow.
And so I started seeking God, literally seeking God, sitting down and telling God, okay, I got divorced. This one is not working. What is wrong with me? What is wrong? So in the process, I also now had to find a church where I could get support, because when I went through the divorce, I didn't get good support from the initial church where I used to go. So I started moving from church to church looking for support. But I met a pastor couple who walked the journey with me on what I was going through. That's when she told me, you didn't go through the healing process. You jumped very fast into another relationship. And even him, he was going through his own issues. He also didn't go through that process. So two divorced people come together.
Both wounded.
Yes. So we wound each other. Yeah. No one is. Yeah. So in the process of seeking God, one day while I was praying, God tells me, I didn't send you there, my daughter. Because I was asking her, why is it not working? And said, I didn't send you there. I journal a lot. So I found myself writing that. And when I thought about it, yes, I used to pray before I formalized this thing. But God was silent. He never said yes, he never said no. God was just silent on that issue. And my conclusion was, it's okay.
He's okay with it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But the signs were there. Family is not supporting you.
Yes.
They only came home to visit once, and that was it. No dowry was paid. Some of these customary things are important and significant. No dowry was paid. We didn't have a ring. After the AGs, I went back to work. Nothing happened. Because that's the time the business was. I had a big clientele, high-end clients. So finish this thing. So it's like I also didn't take the whole ceremony serious. Very serious. Yeah. So now I needed to step out. So God tells you, step out.
Wow. Second time.
And I'm like, God, what will people say? So I spoke to one pastor, and she told me, do you want to be right with God or people?
There we go.
And then she also asked me, did you involve your children in this process? I did. Then children talk, because my children had a very good relationship with the father. I didn't cut that communication.
That's good.
So one day the father calls me and tells me he wants to meet me. So throughout, we communicate only on phone in regards to the children, if necessary. Remember, he was taking care of the kids' fees and everything. He did an awesome job with it to date. Wow. So I didn't have to worry about it. So we met in a restaurant, and he tells me, I know what you're going through. I've heard it from the children. And your son is doing Form 4 in a year's time, and this is going to affect him if it's not managed well. So I need to know, what is your plan? So I told him I need to move out, but my business is not doing well, so financially I'm not doing well. In this relationship, I found myself taking up bills that I shouldn't have. Suddenly I'm paying rent, and the money was coming from my business. I'm living in a leafy suburb. We are paying rent of 100,000.
What?
Yes. Nice, beautiful townhouse. Wow. I took up some responsibilities that we didn't agree on, we didn't plan on. I sold my car. I was very independent. But suddenly being dependent on him for almost everything. Business is going down. I'm losing clients. I'm not able to follow up because I think emotionally I was not stable.
Not stable. Wow.
So when I met the father of my kids, yes, I told him what's going on, and he tells me, okay, you need to look for a place so that at least the environment for the boy when he's doing Form 4 is good, because the first divorce affected my daughter. My daughter settled when she was in campus emotionally. She didn't perform very well, yet she's a bright girl. But she didn't perform very well. Her class 8, her Form 4. But she got into a private university and she did well, but that's when she settled. So there's a period of her life because of my issues or my instability that affected her. So we didn't want the same
for the boy.
So because of living in a leafy suburb, I'm looking for a house
within that area.
Leafy suburbs. No, we always want to maintain a certain...
Absolutely standard.
For people, it's really not for us.
Oh.
When you think about it, it's for people. So every house I get, he rejects. And one day he tells me, I want you to look for a house that in the event I'm not able to pay the rent, you can take care of yourself. So I couldn't find any that I really want, and then eventually he told me, I have a house in South Sea. Remember, he used to work out of town, so he'd only come weekends. He says, I have a house in South Sea I've always maintained because of the children. Move in there. It's a house also my girlfriend used to come. Move in there and stay there. Before that, in our conversation, I brought up the issue of us giving the marriage a chance.
Oh, you wanted like a second chance in the marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, when you're seeking God, God hates divorce. So you're thinking, okay, maybe because I didn't fight for this one, can we give this marriage a chance? And he said no. Wow. That broke me. Have you ever cried in a restaurant?
Wow.
Until the waiters around were wondering what's going on.
Oh dear.
But he told me it's because he waited for me for so long. He wasn't going to wait anymore. And the girlfriend, who's now the wife, was expecting their baby. Yes. So anyway, I moved into the house in South Sea, and part of the agreement was when your son finishes his high school, because he wanted to travel to study abroad. As soon as your son finishes high school, you're on your own. So basically, you have like 2 years to plan your life. Wow. I'll take care of rent. I'll take care of everything. I said fine. Moved to South Sea. It was a 4-bedroomed house. Then there was also all the kids had their own rooms. He had a stepson. I didn't mention that. He had a stepson whom I raised when he was 4 years. When we got married, the son moved in with us when he was 4 years. So the son also used to stay in that house. And then there was a niece also. So all of them had their own rooms. So that left,
basically the house is full.
The house is full. So that leaves...
So where are you?
The servants' quarter.
You lived in the servants' quarter?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my sleeping place and my everything.
Okay.
When I moved in there, I didn't unpack my things for 3 months. In my head, I'm there temporarily. And I cried because I told God, you removed me from
affluence
to... And it's a beautiful house in South Sea, 4-bedroom. That's beautiful. But again, material things, how we look at them.
Yeah.
But I lived in the SQ for 2 years. Because when my son finished Form 4, and he had to do his foundation year here, and it was for 6 months. So immediately he was almost done with that. He sent me a message and told me, remember, we had a deal. Your son has finished.
Wow.
As from the month of November, you need to move out because I need now to have my family in place.
Okay.
I cried.
Wow.
Again, in shock. And all along I used to pray like, God, I'm here. God takes you back to where you made your first mistake.
Yeah.
It's like, let's start the journey all over again.
Yes. So in your mind, you knew maybe, things could work out?
Yes. To be honest, for me, I was praying that things could work out.
Okay.
I was praying. Okay. And it's during this season that for the first time I heard God's audible voice. One day in the SQ I was praying and I was broken because remember when he's in town, he would come to the house, see his kids, spend the day with the children, he would shop, do whatever it is he needs to do. He'll only go to see his wife. Now that he's the wife, he'll go to see the wife in the evening and then come back maybe the following day.
Okay.
So you can imagine me experiencing that, knowing he's going to the other woman. It's until recently that I refer to her as a wife. To me, she was always the other woman.
Wow.
Yet she was not the women who were involved that led us to our breakup. She was not the one. There were others.
Yeah, okay.
She's not the one. But I always refer to her as the other woman. When I'm talking to my friends, that other woman.
Wow.
So it used to kill me when I see him leave. Anyway, so one time when I was praying to God and I said, God, you said you will restore my marriage.
Right.
You're a God who restores.
Yes, you said.
You said, why is it taking so long? Why is it still going?
Right.
And God answered, I've heard all your cries and prayers. How do I know it was God? Because I was kneeling, I was praying in the SQ. My lights were off, but for some reason there was so much light. Wow. Beautiful light. Beautiful, Then I heard the voice. I have heard your cry. I have heard everything you have said. And that was it. Then the following morning, a friend called me. As I was praying, I was thinking about you. And God is saying, He's going to take care of you.
Amen.
And this is someone who never calls me, and it's a man. Someone I really look up to. Yes, he knew what I was going through, but he says, I was praying. God will take care of you. God will restore you. Now, when I think about it, restore means what? You see, to me, restore my marriage. Restore is God is going to restore you as a person.
Yeah, individually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Restore you back to Him first.
Yes.
Then these other things.
Reconcile you to Him first.
Yes. I was so focused
on the marriage working.
It became an idol in my prayer.
See now.
Yes.
Yeah. So you focused on that and did not focus on God and what God can actually do. Wow.
Things happen. So anyway, 2017, September, my son left for the UK and I moved out.
Wow.
So I got myself a nice small apartment, humble beginnings. I didn't go back to the affluent.
No. Now you're with God, so really.
And He provides. Because by the time I'm being told that, business has just started picking up, but I've lost quite a bit.
Yes.
I've really lost quite a bit in terms of customers. So I get myself an apartment, I move in with my daughter, and that's when my two nieces came into my life. Okay. My sis comes to me and tells me, I'm leaving for Qatar, please take care of my children. The long and the short, she never left the country. And that's how I started living with those two girls full time. She was also going through her own issues. Okay. She just needed time, a break, because whatever she was going through was affecting the girls.
Okay.
So that's how full time now I started living with my two nieces.
Wow.
So I'm in my own place. Business has grown. When I think about it, God removed everything that I had acquired while I was in that relationship, because everything is new. I have new clients. Totally new.
What? This God.
Yes.
Wow.
When He says, trust me,
yes,
you really have to trust Him.
Completely.
Completely. Trust Him. He's provided. There are times I struggle with rent, but somehow He provides. Because remember, I have a business that was once doing well. I had to shut it down at some point because it wasn't making business sense.
Yeah.
So I had to shut it down.
Right.
And I had to start all over again. And that's where a lot of the people who have helped me to where I am have worked with me. There's actually one of these business people in the industry who told me, sit down, tell me what is going on. And I told him, he said, it's okay, we'll start again. So he has walked the journey with me. And that's why I'm also passionate about entrepreneurs, because I know sometimes you're in a place you don't even know where do you begin.
To start.
Yeah.
That's true. Be encouraged. This is, thank you, Carol. This is so amazing that you would tell us that it's okay to start again. But can you start with God? Wherever it is that you are right now, whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, whatever hurdle you're going through right now, seek Him, seek God. He has a way of just hearing you and answering you. He is a generous God. He is a wonderful Father. He will listen. And it's okay to start. A lot of times we actually cling to material things. We actually tell ourselves, what will people think? What will people say? Yeah. And I'll repeat myself again and again. I always say, I only have the audience of one, and that is God. As long as God says it is good, really, it doesn't matter what every other person says. The only person you need to please is God Himself. So I'm happy that you say that. And I know I've sat with you, so for me it's easy to ask this question. When I visited you, and we were sharing about our experiences, whatever it is that we're going through, you brought out a very beautiful looking file that has colors of, I think, watermelons or strawberries on it.
I think they're flowers.
They're flowers. It's a pink file. Please tell us about that pink file, because I think it will help somebody today.
I brought out that file because God has been so good to me.
Amen.
And when you're obedient, He'll walk that journey with you. So my pink file is a file, I've labeled it the journey of my home ownership journey. Yes. So Carol is in the process of acquiring a house.
Yay!
Because I told
See
God, rent is stressing me.
Yes, it is. It's very stressful.
It's stressing me, and also in my beginning of the marriage, we were blessed with a home.
Yes.
So I keep telling God, I want my own home.
Yes.
So faith without action again.
There we go.
So I bought a file, because yes, I want a home. I bought a file. And in my file, you got a chance to open it. Yes, it's labeled Homeownership Journey.
Yes.
That journey started in August, but actually it started in June. So what I've done is I looked for verses in the Bible that talk about home. And every month I have Bible verses that I pray. Actually, I pray every Friday for my house.
Wow.
I've identified the house. I've taken the pictures. I know how much the house costs, and they're all in that file.
Yes, I saw the pictures. True story. I saw the pictures.
So trust God. It's not a small house, but that's why he's a big God.
Yes, he is.
Don't limit him.
Can't limit him.
Yeah, so
Can't limit our God.
yeah, so that's my journey. I'm trusting God. By next year, same time, like I told you, I'm paying deposit for my house.
Glory
Yes.
to Jesus.
And that's God.
Wow. And how are the kids doing now? Your daughter, is she working? Is she in school?
The children are well, I thank God. And one thing I always thank God for is she didn't get pregnant as early as I did. Again, that has had to be a journey, especially when we went through the divorce, because there was a period I almost lost her. So Ashley has finished her undergrad. She's now working.
Oh, wow.
Because of Corona, she was due to leave the country for her master's, but because of what has happened, so she had to stay and wait. But meanwhile, she's working.
Okay.
My son is in the UK. He's finished his undergrad.
Yay.
And he's proceeding with his master's.
God.
And my two other girls,
Yes.
Isabel
That's
and
amazing.
Sophie, amazing girls,
Yes.
are doing pretty well.
They're doing well.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I know we can go on and on. That's Carol's testimony. What is your testimony? What has God done for you? What is it that you can stand up and say, truly, if it wasn't for God? Look at Carol's story. In any given situation, someone would give up after the first time. But she pressed on. And her secret was to keep trusting God. She went and cried out to God. If you're going through a tough time right now, lock yourself up in your room and cry out to him. He will truly show up. Thank you so much, Carol.
Thank you.
Any encouragement for someone out there? I know I've said a lot, but any encouragement for somebody?
In my journey, I have a special relationship with God.
Yes.
I talk to him the way we are having this conversation.
Yes.
Develop that relationship. As soon as you have that in place, everything else will fall in place.
Amen.
Yes, and have a beginner's mindset. Because
Wow.
every time you'll be beginning a new thing. So always have a beginner's mindset.
Thank you so much for coming to Baraka Testimony today.
Thank you for having me.
And I pray that you've been blessed. May Jehovah God watch over you and your families. Be blessed.
Thank you.